Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Connected by Community, brought to you by Ballantine Capital Advisors. I'm Brian Ballantine, and I'm here with Cameron Cannon from my office at Ballantine Capital Advisors, and we are joined today by Ashton Dilley from Floor Boys. Ashton, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
We are as well. So we were talking a little bit before, but we want to tell the audience we kind of came from a similar place. So where'd you grow up and go to high school before you came to this part of the country?
Yeah, so I grew up in Lexington, South Carolina. I lived there pretty much all my life, and then I moved to Spartanburg, which didn't really enjoy that much, but I went to college there. And then post-graduation, I moved to Greenville. So I've been here about 3 years now, and I love it.
So that's funny. My wife went to Spartanburg as well and wasn't a big fan.
Yeah.
We love our Spartanburg people.
Yes.
They're out there, so nothing.
Yeah.
I think it was she went to USC Spartanburg, and
That's where I went to. And I actually did love it. It was great. It was smaller, but the city was a little too small. But now it seems like they're really building. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's growing.
We just want to make sure we love the folks over there, right?
Yeah,
So you've been in Greenville now how long?
For about 3 years, 3 or 4 years.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
She's a diehard Greenville fan now.
I'm a big Greenville girl.
So little disclosure for our audience, me and Ashton are actually friends. She also just got engaged to one of our other great friends, Alan Lederer.
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations to her. Big news last weekend.
Yeah, it was great. I don't know where to show this.
Yeah, show it off. There you go.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So Alan did great. So just a little disclosure, we are friends, so I do know her. But
and we hear you already got everything planned out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Against my fiance's will. Yeah. I have
Well,
what, like next week or next month to get
yeah,
married?
no, it'll be a while, but I have everything already in the works. Yeah.
For you, that's
Yeah.
So tell us maybe a little bit more about what you do at Floor Boys, or what the company does.
Yeah. I think it's honestly an interesting conversation. So like I said, I went to USC Upstate, studied psychology and child advocacy, which is like the stepping stones for social work. And that's what I'm truly passionate about. I love social work. I love advocating for children's rights. But it's a very hard job to be into. It's a very hard job to even make a living, unfortunately. So when I graduated from Upstate, I got my first job at DSS, and I loved it. I loved working with foster kids. And what we did was we worked with foster kids that wanted to be adopted, and so it was great. And right before I was supposed to start grad school, my dad called me the night before. And I say dad, he's my stepdad, so I say those kind of interchangeably. He called me the night before, and he said, we want to open up a third location of Floor Boys in Greenville, and we want you to do it. And at first I said, heck no, I'm not doing that. Like, I don't know anything about flooring. I just know that you've done flooring all my life. I don't know anything about it. So I actually called him back, and I said, you know what? I actually do want to do this. So we opened up the third location, and now we're a pretty big flooring retail store. We have pretty much any distributor that you can think of, and we help with the installation process as well. So for me, my job is really being a sales rep, connecting with the customers, talking about product, and I'm still learning a lot too myself because, like I said, it was a big career path change for me. So.
Funny story on that. I actually remember that day. We were actually up on top of SIP. I don't know if you remember this. We were up on the roof of SIP.
Yeah.
And I guess your dad had called you like a couple days before that, and it was like me, you, and some of your other friends. Luke was there.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know. Like, I'm literally gonna start grad school, but like, my dad wants me to open up this store. I don't know what to do. And I actually do remember you talking about that. And I think it's pretty cool that I was there to witness that. And then now, obviously, it's been at least a year now, and you've just been crushing it. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, and to be fully transparent when you say the term crushing it, and I'm totally exposing myself by talking to you guys about this, but I'm just being transparent and being honest.
That's what this is all about.
Yeah. I kind of said yes to the opportunity because I liked the idea. Well, one, financially, I said yes. But the second reason I said yes is because I like the idea of being a boss or being a boss babe, which is totally cringy to say, okay? It's totally cringy. But I like the idea, and a lot of people love that idea. And then once I started getting some customers and we started having a little traffic, I realized I was not a boss babe and that I had a lot to learn. So that was a really big learning experience for me. I went into it with the wrong idea. And then I realized when I first had those customers that were asking me, tell me a little bit about LVP. And I was like, you tell me a little bit about LVP. I don't know. So I had to realize that I needed to get educated fast. And now I would say that I'm passionate about selling floors. But at the beginning, it was a big learning curve for me.
That's actually one thing I wanted to talk about. Obviously, we're fairly same age, very young. Well, I mean, how is that being a boss? And obviously you got to manage a whole store. I'm sure you got some older workers. That's obviously interesting.
Yeah.
Very entrepreneurial, obviously running your own store. How is that? What are some struggles? Any advice you would give to other people maybe looking to be a boss babe like yourself?
Yeah. Gosh, I hate that I used to say that. But I even bought a plaque that said boss babe. Okay.
And I got to tell you, I've never heard that term.
Yeah, it's more of like a woman term, and a lot of women want to be a boss babe. Like I said, I bought something from Home Goods that said boss babe, which is so cringy.
I got to tell my daughter that she might like it.
Yeah, no, it is catchy, but the whole point of it's not bad to be a boss babe, and it's a cute term, but I just wasn't, because I just went into it the wrong way with the wrong mindset. I just wanted to go into it for being on top, but I wasn't on top because I didn't know a lot yet, so it was just a humbling experience. So I would say what your question is, Cam, I don't consider myself a boss anymore, at all. My father is the boss, and actually we have we were blessed by bringing in my partner. His name is Alan, actually, as well. I think you've met him a few times, Alan Pierce. And to me, he is the boss. And my dad likes him more than he likes me. He knows everything there is to know about flooring. He even can install flooring. But yeah, I mean, it still is a weird dynamic. More so not that I'm the boss, but that I'm the boss's daughter. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone considers me a boss yet by any means, but they know that I am the boss's daughter. So that can be kind of a weird situation, and sometimes it's not fun working for your dad either. But yeah, I think that I just don't consider myself a boss, really, truly.
Yeah.
So are you going out to builders, or do they come to you, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we do work a little bit with builders. Again, Alan Pierce knew a lot of connections. He knew a lot of builders when he came to Floor Boys, because he was at Bonnets first, which Bonnets is a huge commercial flooring company. So he kind of works with that side of it. For me, it's more just working with the customers. I truly enjoy the design side of flooring. That's kind of what I finally become passionate about, because I'm good at it. Alan Pierce is not good at it, so at all. So I can help women come in and pick the colors they want with their wall paint or the furniture they already have. So that's kind of what my job is. But on the more boss side of things, I do work with all the bills. I try to network as much as possible. I was involved in chamber, and now I'm doing the HBA. So I do stuff like that. I do the networking side.
Awesome.
So how do you work with people in design? Do they bring in pictures? Do they bring in samples?
Yeah.
So tell us maybe a little bit about that process.
Yeah.
What could somebody who's listening to this maybe say before they come in, they think about?
Yeah. So I guess a lot of times they'll come in with an idea of a color that they like, or typically, they'll come in and they'll say, I just want a durable floor. They want something, good. All of our floors are good. We don't sell anything that we don't trust. So really it comes down to what color they want at the end of the day, because all of them are going to be good in quality. So they come in, they'll tell me a little bit about their space, if they're building or if they're just, changing up the floors, what they have below the floors that we'd be putting on, and then just kind of their basic furniture that they already have. And their paint typically. And so I just kind of go off of, okay, do you like more of a gray tone? Do you like more of a beige? Do you like the mix? Do you like a cherry tone? And then typically once they tell me, I can kind of start pulling stuff. So
the real question, talking about true confessions, do you ever cringe and you're like, oh, no.
All the time. And I think I used to kind of say please don't do that, but you can't. You have to be like, oh yeah, that's so beautiful.
You really want purple? Go ahead. Go for it.
Yeah. I can't stand the more old fashioned stuff sometimes. So, but people love it. And there's a reason why it's a classic and people always go back to it. So I just have to say it would look good.
And ultimately, if it's their house, help them get it.
100%.
Right?
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, is that I realize I can't sway somebody on a color because it is such a pricey. Floors are very expensive. Mm-hmm. I had no idea, and I'm sure we've talked about it a little bit since you're changing up your home a little bit, but it is so expensive to buy floors. One of the most expensive things that you buy when it comes to the home. So you can't sway somebody on a color that I like because I'm not going to be living in it.
One thing I did want to ask about flooring, because like you said, I'm kind of fixing up my house currently. What's the difference and what do you prefer? I know traditionally a lot of people were, hard been on hardwood floors, and now there's other kind of options.
Yeah.
I guess, can you speak on where that trend is going?
Yeah, I can now because I educated myself over the year. So a lot of people will come in, and it's typically the older crowd that will come in, and they're like, I want hardwoods. I want a true hardwood. Honestly, hardwoods are kind of going out because they're not as dimensionally stable. So Shaw has actually, I think Shaw was the first to come up with an engineered hardwood. So it's a true hardwood, but it just has a different like pressing mechanism to it that makes it more dimensionally stable, better with water, better with like cupping of the floor, stuff like that. So I would say engineered, but LVP, luxury vinyl plank, I think is the most popular and is what people typically come in because it's more waterproof and durable.
And so for folks out there that might not know what that means, kind of maybe explain that. What is that, and how does that product work?
The LVP?
Yep.
Okay, so LVP is just a luxury vinyl plank. So it's just made to look like a hardwood, or it can be an LVT, which means the exact same thing, just one looks like tile, one looks like plank. And it's really just like a plasticky composite, I guess, just made to look like floors, but it's super resistant and waterproof, really good with like dogs and, cats, like scratch proof, scuff proof, stuff like that. So
you can pour the water on.
Yes, technically you could. Probably wouldn't be great to do, but yes, you could.
We actually put some of that down up at the lake, and it's helpful when you're going to be in an environment where people are going to bring it in wet bathing suits and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Actually, and engineered as well. And people don't think that because they think hardwoods are like, oh my gosh, you can't have water. But my sales rep for Shaw that handles the engineered side of it actually has engineered hardwoods on Lake Kiwi. So you really can have engineered with a place where you're going to be in a lot of water, I guess.
So completely aside, but true confessions of a customer, what happened? Of course, so this week, actually, we had a water leak, actually yesterday, right? So we come in and our bottled water, these 5-gallon things, it was leaking. And thank goodness we had bought this tray. And so it was going to be all over our engineered floors. So we would have been a customer, but we prevented from having to buy from you. So sorry for that, but we're thankful.
But another confession, me and Brian and Anthony, our other guy at the office, we're on our hands and knees, like scrubbing the water out of the cracks. So
oh my gosh.
I don't know. We didn't put the floors in. They were there when we bought the building. So I don't know what they are. I mean, they're engineered type stuff.
Okay.
And so I don't want to come in and this thing be cupped up and all messed up and whatever. So we just had an experience yesterday, so I just had to share that.
That's funny. Yeah.
But that's where I think the LVTs or LVPs would make me feel a little more comfortable, and I'm sure engineered's come a long way. But I know, again, thinking about the lake and wet environments, I know a lot of people are going to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when it's time for me and my fiance, that's fun to say.
Yeah.
To look for a home, it'd probably be LVP.
Yeah.
So.
And same thing on that too with dogs. Like I have a dog in my house and it's super old. It has like really old hardwoods. And like when a UPS person comes, he's like freaking out at the door. There's like scratch marks on my hardwood. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like I love my dog. I can't get rid of him. But I'm like, dude, I'm gonna have to, get my floors redone because you're destroying them.
The durability.
So, it just is not durable these days. Or at least mine aren't.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always freaked out about scratching my floors. As the kids will tell you, I'm like, don't scratch the floor, don't touch the walls.
Gosh, I remember my stepdad being like that, and it annoyed me so much. And now I can understand it and appreciate it because I sell them, so I understand it now. But he used to be the same way.
You don't want to go through the maintenance.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's again totally off the subject, but if you've seen that commercial, it's like one of those dad commercials with a paint company. He's like, don't touch the walls.
Yeah.
And my kids always give me a hard time because I'm like that with that in the floor. So
yeah.
So I guess what would make you guys different, or for consumers looking for you, than one of the box stores? Like, hey,
absolutely.
I go to Home Depot or Lowe's.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
I agree. We're not big on that, but so people listening kind of know why would they reach out to you guys, and what could you do different?
Yeah,
and how does that work?
It's tough when someone comes in and they've been to a Home Depot or something like that before us, because the prices are going to be a little bit different. But we can even get close to a price of Home Depot, but the quality is going to be so much better. So it's always hard because you don't want to be rude by being like, please don't do that. But I want to, we want to be transparent as well. And there are some other incredible competitors that we have in Greenville. And that was kind of something that I was going to circle back to with the learning curve that we went through for the year that we've been open, in Lexington, they have the biggest showroom, one of the biggest on the Southeast. And you know Lexington pretty well. There's no other flooring stores. It's only Floor Boys. So my dad he never had to compete. And then we came here and my dad was like, oh, you know, I'm the man and this is going to be the biggest thing ever. And no, there was incredible other flooring stores. And I've met a few of the people and they're all great people too. And so we really had to kind of attack marketing a different way than we did in Floor Boys or in Lexington that's already been really established. So what makes us different than, I think we're very different than like, you know, a Home Depot or anything like that. But what makes us different from anybody, I believe, is the customer service that we provide, which I know is kind of a generic, basic answer. But when I say customer service, from the time that they walk in to me talking to them about design and colors and their walls, their furniture, to the time we purchase the product for them, the installation, and even to go as far as say like post-installation, you know, making sure that everything's right, it's all satisfactory. So I think that would be our strongest attribute, is being with the customer and advocating for them, because it is such a big process and you're going to probably be with these floors for 20 plus years. You know, you don't want to have something that you don't love. So just advocating for them throughout the whole process of it, I would say. And I think too, we have other things that we're great at. And I think it's cool that we're family owned as well. That's another attribute, but I would say customer service for sure.
Awesome. So let's flip gears. You know, one of the things that in our industry that people talk about a lot, but it's got to be affecting you guys too, is this ugly word called inflation.
Yeah.
And presumably there's a lot of oil in the products that are being made. So I assume prices have gone up.
Yes.
I hadn't shopped flooring recently, but I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
So I guess talk about that. What kind of increases have you seen? What are consumers having to do? Are they having to downgrade product, change product? Do some of these new products help with that? So maybe a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think the biggest would definitely be freight, you know, transporting it. I think on a customer standpoint, the biggest issue that we're seeing specifically with freight is maybe a builder comes in, they're trying to build something for one of their customers and they buy one box of like Shaw LVP. And the Shaw box is cheaper than the freight. And they always have a comment about that. They're like, you know, what the heck? The freight is more than, you know, the material. And we have to just tell them, you know, that's just how it is right now. I think too, the other specific customer problem that we're having with that is somebody that's worked with us in the past, like Floor Boys of Lexington, Floor Boys of Florence, Floor Boys of White Knoll. They'll come to us with a previous quote and say like, you know, I want to get this exact same floor in this new house, and the price will be on that quote. And then we send the new one and it's very different. And they have a lot to say about that. But it's understandable, but it's, you know, usually we just have to say, I'm sorry, it's just due to the times that we're in right now. So I would think that that's the biggest.
Well, what about
impact.
supply? Are you guys having trouble actually getting the material
Oh my gosh.
as well?
Yes. Yes. Now that has calmed down a little bit just recently. But about 2 months ago, if someone came in and they loved something, we'd be like, I'm sorry, it's not here till September, you know? And
wow.
Yeah, that's kind of a problem anywhere,
you
know? So it's not like someone could go somewhere else and find a Shaw product that if we can't get it, nobody could get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but yes, that was hard.
But you are seeing a little bit of relief on that front as well.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's been a little bit better with that. Mm-hmm.
So probably not as big a deal if I'm building a home, because you think about it, but if I'm remodeling just my bathroom and I wanted to go for the weekend project, you know, you tore your floor up, you better have made some plans before you tore the floor out.
Yeah, 100%. You know,
even today.
100%. Someone will come in. A lot of people too will come in and ask if we carry stuff in stock, which I guess I could understand that being a question, but since I know now that that's not a normal thing to carry every stock, every color, you know, in a warehouse. So a lot of people will come in and they'll be like, you know, how soon can you get it for me? I'm starting this weekend. And I'll be like, it's going to take you, if the product's in stock, it's going to at least take a week for you. So, and they don't love that, but I mean.
Yeah.
Should have thought ahead.
Yeah, that's just how it is.
Is there any other, so I know like it's, you know, mainly the flooring aspect. Is there any other products, you know, carpet, other stuff like that you guys
100%.
do that maybe you could talk about as well?
Yeah, we really do it all down to like concrete. Now,
oh, wow.
Please don't ask me too much about concrete.
No, of course
I don't know too much about concrete yet. But we even have a little side of that in Floor Boys that we can do, like concrete and ceiling. But yeah, big industry for carpet too. I mean, we have any type of distributor that you can imagine for carpet as well. So typically somebody will come in, and it's actually funny with carpet. A lot of people want an LVP or a hard surface because they think carpet's dirty. But typically what happens when someone puts hardwoods throughout their whole home, what do they typically do in the bedrooms? They put a rug down because it's more comfortable. So typically we'll tell them like, it's a good idea even to save some money to do some carpet in the bedrooms and do hardwood everywhere else because you're probably going to want it in the bedroom. But yeah, definitely carpet.
So that's actually a funny thing you bring up. So my wife now, so I'm struggling with saying that too with the fiance thing. I'm big. I was like, I love like getting out, whether it's a rug or carpet, whatever, in the bedrooms. So whenever we were going to redo our house, talking to you about it, I was like, I'd love to do that. She's like, no, I want hardwoods everywhere. We can just get a rug. I'm like, why would we get a rug and pay for hardwoods? We could just get carpet in here that like we like and feels good. And she's like, no, I want hard surface and a rug. And I was like, you can't win those arguments. So I was just like, whatever you want, honey. That's what I'm learning. Whatever you want.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're going to touch on the conversation of being a woman in a male dominated work field. I don't know if that's what we're going to talk about, but
we'll talk about it now.
Okay, great. Let's talk about it now because I do have some stuff to say about it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Get it off your chest.
Yeah, well, and you kind of brought it up about you were saying the wife makes the final decision, and that 100% is the case. We'll have males.
Well, thank you for breaking the news to everybody.
We'll have males that come into the showroom and they'll be all big and honcho, and they'll talk about product, and I get a little intimidated because I'm like, okay, this person knows a lot about the installation, they know a lot about the product, but if they have their wife with them, they're usually just like, just do whatever you want and I don't care. And so that's my favorite thing that happens, that when a wife can come in and I can talk to her about what do you actually want color wise. But yeah, that was what I was.
Yeah, that would be my thing. I'd be like, yeah, I'd love this, and she'd be like,
yeah, it's
well, we're actually going to go a different direction. But I mean, I'm pretty easygoing. It was kind of like same thing with our wedding. We were talking before the show.
Yeah.
I was like, as long as I'm not wearing like a pink suit or something crazy like that, I really, whatever makes you happy, honey. That's what I've learned.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
See, I get in trouble because I've been married. I'll be 25 years soon, and we've built a couple houses. And
yeah, but I bet you're pretty opinionated on your house.
I'm very opinionated because, my dad was a builder, so I grew up around it, and I know a decent amount about it. And when you've built and moved as much as we have, I kind of know what I like and what I don't like.
Yeah.
But the good thing I think with building houses, I'm also usually I'm decent at it, right? So it's not like I'm making like putting purple carpet from the ceiling or something, right?
Yeah.
But one interesting thing you have to think about, we hadn't talked about this, like some people put it in their bonus room. Like we have a big bonus room where we kind of have like I won't call it a theater, but a big TV.
Yeah.
And at first we had gotten quotes to putting floors down, hardwoods. We have hardwoods pretty much everywhere except for in the kids' bedrooms. And you got to think about sound, right? I'm like, well, if we're going to have a big TV and like surround sound, I don't want hardwoods there, right? And like if I'm like, I don't know, I just feel like being more comfortable. So we ended up putting carpet there.
Yeah.
So I think you got to think about the environment, I guess, is what I'm, not just wet floors, but the sound. And
the high traffic, the kids, the ages, if you do have dogs that have accents, all that type of stuff, absolutely. It's going to, kind of sway you one way or the other. Yeah. Carpet or LVP or
our dog just gets to go wherever she wants.
Yeah. Mine still kind of does too. I have a little gremlin.
Yeah. Cool. So, I guess anything else that you guys do that we hadn't asked the right question. I like the thing you brought about women in a male dominated, absolutely. And I think that's awesome because our industry has had the same thing. So kudos for you. Yeah. We actually wish there was more women in our industry, and I think you bring a unique perspective to calm the men down and say, hey, get in line, right?
Yeah, and I guess I didn't touch on that very well, but what I was saying is typically they'll come in and they'll act like that, they know everything there is to know about floors, and they probably do. Right. But it's always usually the wife that's like, no, I'm going to have this. I'm going to choose this. And they usually just like stand down, which I love that because I can usually help with the colors and stuff like that. But yeah, no, that is something very prevalent to me. Just I had to kind of overcome my fear a little bit of being insecure when a man came in and they just know more about, just any type of flooring or any type of housework, stuff like that. Like I am the least handy person you've ever met in your life. Right. Truly. I think one of my biggest, successes is that I built a computer chair and it took me like an obscene amount of time. Like I am so, I can't work a tape measure. It's really bad. And it's something I'm learning more about, but so I was super insecure when I started finally becoming a little bit knowledgeable about the product when a man would come in and they would throw around all the terms that I'm just now learning. And I was like, oh gosh, this is going to be interesting. But then I found out that I actually do know the product. And I can sell somebody on what the product, what it has to offer. But then I also can tell you that, no, that's not going to look good with what you have. So I just have had to kind of overcome being insecure in a male dominated work field. Because I came from DSS where it was all women, and I'm doing the same things as them, and we're having fun conversations, and then it's all men, and it can be a little intimidating sometimes, but it can be fun too.
And I think it sounds like, there's different parts to that, right? The final outcome, you're worried about getting a good final outcome, and somebody else might be worried about the underlayment. Okay, you need all that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So different perspectives of whether it's that or some other industry.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, just trying to, I would, anyone that is in my position, just trying to not psych yourself out and just know that you do know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And even if someone comes in, and it can be a woman too. We have women that come in all the time that are like throwing out these terms, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just learned this term, and like you don't even sell floors. So it can be anybody, but just not trying to psych yourself out and just knowing that you do know the product, you know what you're talking about, and you can offer something that maybe they can't when it comes to designing or anything like that.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
And now you're a boss babe, so you can just tell them that too.
Yeah,
Hey, listen
so
here, guys.
cringy to say. I do not say that anymore, but it is a cool thing to be a boss babe and to be a woman that's, trying to establish a business and stuff. And I've just been very blessed with the whole opportunity. It's been a great opportunity for me.
That's awesome. And I've learned a term because, again, a
boss babe.
Boss babe didn't know. I'm sharing with my daughter tonight, so she'll have fun with that.
She probably definitely knows the term.
She probably knows it and hasn't shared it with me.
How old is she?
She is 16 and 17-year-old, but she acts 26, so I'm sure she knows the term and has not shared it with me.
Yeah, she does, yeah.
So, Cameron, you want to fire away our big question?
Yeah, so we always ask this signature question, and it's what makes you tick?
What makes me tick when it comes to floor boys?
Just in general, with life.
However you want to
answer it.
It can be ticked off.
Oh, gosh. I know. I'd have to think about it. I don't know. Experiences? Yeah, like getting to do experiences. I'm not super materialistic, I would say, but I enjoy like going to do stuff with my fiance. I would say probably experiences.
Okay. Awesome.
I don't know if that's...
No, that's perfect.
There's no right or wrong answer.
There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Probably just doing experiences. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So if people wanted to find you or find Floor Boys or find more about the company, where could they reach out to you or find more?
Yeah. So we are located on 1208 Lawrence Road. And you can check us out at floorboys.com. And my personal number is 803-600-0269. So I take any calls when it comes to anything flooring related.
Awesome. Thanks again, Ashton, for being here. Really enjoyed it and learned a lot. And wish you much success.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. And for everyone out there, go and find our podcast on all the various social media platforms, podcast platforms. Until we see you next time, go out and make our community great. Thank you.